than what they do in the United States. So, yes, they can do fraud and all that, but you saw what happened under Donald Trump, January 2021. Donald Trump tried to say that the election was stolen, that it was hacked and all of that, but none of those things were true. Nothing, there's no element of truth.
Another headless topic, no doubt we still have reason to come here and discuss security.
Yeah.
And this time around, we are having the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who is saying the federal government has initiated a process that will ensure speedy prosecution of those involved in electoral violence. Usman, we are told now that offenders will be prosecuted. This must be a response to calls by Nigerians that there should be consequences.
Yes, there should be consequences and people should be held accountable for their actions. But the particular one that the Attorney General is talking about, for what particular period of time? That's the question Nigerians will ask him. Is he talking about the people who have offended, who have gone against the law during the 2019 till date?
No, he's saying 2023 now.
For the 2020. I think
electoral violence will not be allowed.
Will not be allowed. I think it's a very good thing if we are preparing for that from the onset, so that people who might be planning any something funny will know that the system is also waiting for them, and then they will be dealt with accordingly. So I think it's a very good step, though it is too late in the night to be talking about that. What about the people that have committed that in the past? I think in the newsroom about 4 or 5 times this year, we've discussed something related to that. We'll do this, we are going to do this, we are going to do that. I mean, at this time of the day, and then unless you look at some other factors, maybe during the campaigns and all that, our the D-Day of the election now has become a violence-free of sorts because of the reforms that have been introduced by INEC. In the past, it is that day that politicians are always waiting for, where they will go and stop their ballot boxes, hijack this. But now, with all the reforms that have been introduced, the amendment to the Electoral Act, the beavers and everything, whenever there is an incident somewhere, the area will be cancelled. Then you know that you will lose, the person other will lose. It is likely to be a unit that you are even going to win initially if you don't.
No, at times politicians will look this where the opponent is strong. That's it. Then they disrupt the process.
The process there, but
the last few elections,
everything
has been. But remember that those ones are just one runoff.
Okay.
Yeah. There were police security from everywhere. But this time around, you have to police everywhere at the same day.
On the same day. So I think
I don't know.
What we have to expect or look forward to is that the law will be evenly applied no matter what part of the country. Over the past years, whenever there's electoral violence, most of the news, or most of the time we read in the news, they were reading about them in the southern part of the country. Was there no electoral violence in the north? In any part of the north? We don't know. But they are not covered in the news and they are not reported. But all the electoral violence we read either in the southwest, or the south-south, or the southeast, we don't hear about much of anything from my own recollection. I don't know if you've heard about electoral violence anywhere in the north. Not because they are law-abiding.
We have heard.
You've heard, okay. But most of the reports that we have been hearing have been in the southern part of the country, south of the Niger and south of the Benue. So will the law be equally applied regardless of where any violation occurs? That is the question. The second question is that will the front line are the boys, the young people who are being mobilized to go and do this and that. But will the law also ask them or go deeper than the prosecuting the immediate person that is caught in violence? Will it go to their sponsors? Will it go to their godfathers?
The direct offenders.
The direct offenders, yes. And the indirect offenders, the backers, the godfathers. Will the law go and reach them?
Are they not starting from somewhere?
They are starting from somewhere, and it's a good move. And we hope, and I'm just saying that I am hoping That is, it won't be the foot soldiers alone that will be prosecuted, but their sponsors or whoever is behind them.
The sponsors are smart. They will break link. You can't see a senator
that is what
discussing with a tout or a talk, as the case may be.
That's exactly what I mean.
So it is these talks that those that are being used to destroy that to make use of their senses.
Yes, you make use of their senses, but the talks are being paid by somebody.
And Usman, this concerns us. Malami is also saying government will not tolerate violence against journalists. That most times journalists that are on duty are molested. And of course, they want to molest journalists because they know they are not doing what is good or what is clean or what is
somebody is about.
So it's also for the first time, I think they are also talking about journalists to be protected.
Yes, I think it's a very welcome development that, I mean, people out there are reckoning with the sacrifices of the pressmen who are sacrificing everything, including their safety, to report.
There was a time I was in Delta State to cover a general election. As I was moving towards a particular area, that locality was crowded. I was called as well and said, Mr. Man, don't go towards that place. I knew there and then that
something funny is
that they were just
going against us. So
and I had to build that wise counsel. Delta is far from
us. So I think in order to make that work, I think we shouldn't wait for till the day to apprehend offenders of that day, the day of the election. Okay. During the coverage of electionary, campaign, last campaign in Osun, the day the governor went to Mogon axis on that day, on his way back, journalists were attacked, their vehicles were, damaged and all that. I mean, from that time, the moment people go against the law and people attack journalists or even go and disrupt a campaign or campaign processes, if you apprehend them from that point and prosecute them before the day of election, whoever that is planning to do anything funny on that day of election will have to think twice before going ahead with that planning. But if we wait till that day, most of these guys are not even apprehended. And when they are caught in some instances, the political class will not allow them to leave that venue. They are going to bribe somebody or give somebody something so that nobody, and even in most cases that I have seen, some of them will just be taken to police station and they will not sleep there. They are not going to pass it that day. They will release them towards the evening. Somebody will get something and something. I think
somebody will come and
yes. But now concerning that of the press, the people who are reporting the event, I think even we the pressmen ourselves are not helping ourselves, because if one of our colleagues is attacked somewhere, instead of us to beam light on that person and that event and make sure that person is fished out by reporting it, by highlighting the event, we just look away and so nothing happens. If you look at most of the journalists that have been attacked in the past, most of their colleagues don't necessarily see it as important event that should be beamed to the world, and that person and that place and that event be reported in a way that the what do you call it, the highlighting of that event will make people think and say, fish this person out. Because if a son of a governor or wife of the governor is attacked somewhere, you'll be surprised the next day, 3, 4, 5 days later, they are going to fish those people out. They will mandate the security people go and find those culprits and they will find them. Now, we journalists should also be our brother's keepers. Whenever a journalist is attacked somewhere, even if the system wants to look away, if we don't look away, there is no way the system will look away. We will force them to look that side and find a solution to the problem. So I think Malami is also, we should thank him for thinking about us too, because we are the endangered species when it comes to election. We are not protected. Journalists are not given any any security details to follow them. And in the normal settings, for every movement of journalists, there should be a police officer harmed, that we follow them so that they'll be able to conduct their work very well. But you just realize that the journalists are just going in their vehicle and nobody to.
Are there not too many that will have police escorting?
No. Some people going to the downtown, to the rural areas.
So your contribution on
Well, it is ignorance is behind all the attacks on journalists and attacks or arresting of journalists and all that. It's because of ignorance on the part of the general population. The United Nations was in Geneva. There's a center that is the head of all the journalism. It says this is what it wrote. It's written on the wall of that place. It said the free press is a cornerstone of democracy. It's written there. It says people have a need to know. Journalists have a right to tell. Finding the facts can be difficult. Reporting the story can be dangerous. So it involves all of these things we are talking about. But it says that freedom includes the right to be outrageous. That is, I can write and say whatever, but responsibility includes the duty to be fair. I must be fair in my reporting. I must be fair in my commentaries and all of that. It said news is history in the making. Journalists provide the first draft of history. A free press at its best reveals the truth. We as members of the profession, the fourth estate, we are members of the fourth estate. We must consider our job to be honorable and something that we do with all our might and do it fairly and do it with everything that we know. But the people also, the people in power, politicians, the people in law enforcement, the police, the army, and all of that, also ought to recognize that we are doing a duty to make to help the people to know and to help the people to be informed and to be informed members of society who cast informed votes. They get all of these things through us. But if we are hampered from doing the job, then the society will not grow, will not be fair.
Okay, now the Attorney General also spoke about the commitment of President Muhammadu Buhari to bring it to an end on democratic and on cultural activities. That should also be a pleasant news.
Yes.
And I think it further re-emphasized the commitment of Mr. President for a free and fair general elections in 2023.
Yes, I think the president in doing all this, like I said earlier, the president understood the fact that it was a product of, a transparent process. Without a transparent process that was headed by Professor Jega that day and that time, he has suffered from the hand of election grabbers.
He claimed to have suffered.
No, he's not claiming now. He ran 3-4 times, but he didn't win the election. And most of the election, we know how it all went. And now that is not his own claiming.
Those issues were decided at the court, and it was never sent to. So let's agree with the judgment.
We agree with the judgment, but he understood what he has passed through
from experience.
And he knew that in the future nobody should pass through that. Under free and fair election without any other rule and all that, one of those shots at the presidency will have produced President Buhari earlier than 2015. But having said that, I think the president is trying all his best. Even if all will not be done by 2023 when he will be leaving, he wants to reach at least 80-85% of sanitizing the electoral system, so that whenever the name Muhammadu Buhari is remembered or mentioned in history, he will be remembered not only because he has failed in the area of fighting corruption. That was the odds in which he rose to power. Now, yes, insecurity he has failed. So if he cannot hammer on that and be successful in that, what legacy will we be remembering President Buhari with? So I think in that area, he's trying his best to make sure that whatever he's going to do, whatever policy he's going to put in place, that will sanitize our electoral system, not overall sanitizing, but a kind of very close to being perfect. So he's trying that, and I think we should give him kudos. And all this pronouncement so far has been towards that I'm not done though. I will still do more to make sure that the electoral system is better than I met it.
Exactly.
any words of advice for those that engage in electoral violence?
Any word of advice is that they should think about their own family, they should think about their relatives, and think about their future, because most of these are young people. They're young people who are being paid by somebody, so they should think about their own future. And also, the law should go full force against and upon anyone who commits electoral violence during any election. Even pre-election violence is not to be welcomed at all. So let those who are thinking about committing that think twice.
Yes, man. The sponsors.
The sponsors will continue sponsoring, but what we need to have is to have a kind of system that is just, that will make it difficult for people to go away with crimes. I think if we have that kind of system in place, even if, look at the way I marvel at the way things are done in other parts of the world. People who must have committed crimes 10, 15 years ago, and it will be unhearted, and it will be revisited, and that person will be made to face justice. I think sometimes when I see some of those things, I marvel, what kind of people are these? But here, once a crime has been committed 3, 4, 5 days, 5 weeks, 1 month, that is all. It has been forgotten.
Case closed.
Case closed. It shouldn't be that way. We should have a system that will be watertight, judicial system that will ever. I mean, look at, since the day they've been talking about no violence, no this, no that. Look at the last election. A lot of people were caught, some with cash, some during the process of transporting arms from one place to another. How many of them have you had that have been jailed, prosecuted and jailed?
Those with cash are being prosecuted now by EFCC.
That one is just one of many cases.
We move to
That's just one of, and we knew why those people are facing charges, because people that sent them decided to leave them to their fate.
Okay, you are maybe you know better.
No, I'm just saying.
So we move to the third topic now. We'll talk about economy. Since the Central Bank of Nigeria announced plans to redesign the Naira notes, so many things are happening in our foreign exchange market. Let me put it that way. Now, Adeomi, we are being told that perhaps because of the high rate of, the high demand for dollar or foreign currencies, the exchange rate had gone up.
Well,
as at the last count, we were told it was 818 naira to $1. And within a speed of just 5 days, we have 53 naira difference.
Yeah, exactly. The reason is that when it was announced that the naira is to be redesigned, effective December 15, the new notes will be out, and they said we'll give them time to exchange. So people are now bringing out naira notes that they have hoarded, they have stored in their home, that they are just dishing out to the poor people once in a while. They are now bringing them out in large numbers, and they are not asking to be exchanged into the new naira note, but they are exchanging them for dollars, pounds, or foreign currency, euro. So because of that, it puts a pressure on bureau de change. They are not taking this money to the bank to go and put it in the bank, because they know that NFIU will catch up with them. So they are taking this money to private bureau de change, who will exchange the money for them into dollars and naira and dollars and pounds and euros and other currencies. That is what is putting the pressure on the system, and the pressure is so high that the exchange rate at the bureau de change is going astronomical. They said it will reach 1,000 very soon.
Okay, Usman, to those that are patronizing this bureau de change, that it is illegal.
Yes,
but I know there should be rules. If you are bringing certain amount, you must fill certain forms and declare certain things. To what extent do you think these rules are followed by this
so far as far as I know, and I stand to be corrected, the bureau de change people are not being properly monitored by the government. The bureau de change is not just a business, it's a very serious business. The issue of exchanging money with another currency should be a very serious business that should be handled by retired bankers, top financial people and all that, who will be before that person will be able to do that kind of business, must be certified, I mean, competent and qualified by a lot of system check by like EFCC, in the NFIU of the police, a lot of other. But in the what we see in our own system and in our own situation is that one person can just say, I'm changing naira to dollar, and that person is operating. I will sit at one corner, open one shop. Till now, and if you see, EFCC is now saying they are going to monitor the Bureau de Change guys and all that. It is not done that way. If
remember, EFCC arrested a House of Assembly candidate in
Kogi State, in Abuja. Yes.
So I think that
no. That one is a sting operation based on some other crimes he has committed, like and another place with some other people. I think what I'm trying to say is that this is a time for us. Bureau de Change guys are one of the people that is allegedly the money launderers are using to launder a lot of money.
Even terrorists are also.
And terrorists are even going through them. So it's high time we look at that particular aspect of our economy. People who are managing so huge amount of money.
We'll come to what we think we can do. Let's first look at these problems first.
Yes.
Adeobi, the amount of dollar in Nigeria, can it be countless? No, let's.
Yes.
The American government should have idea of the amount of dollar in Africa, in their. I think that should be the case.
The United States knows the amount of dollars printed.
Okay.
In their country, in the US.
Okay.
They know the amount. But they also know the amount that goes out of the US. But they don't know where those money goes. They come to Nigeria, to this and that.
But they should have an idea.
But they should have, they do have an idea. But how much dollar is in circulation in Nigeria is not known by the United States. It's not known by the Nigerian government. There's a lot of dollars circulating. Only recently, when January last year or this year, when the CBN began to try to compensate you 5 naira for every dollar, that they began to have an idea how much dollar is being brought into the country. We say $3 billion being transferred to Nigeria by Nigerians in the United States, in the diaspora in the US alone. $3 billion. This year would have increased. That the amount of dollars that we're bringing in, I say we because I'm one of them, bringing dollars into Nigeria. But how much it is, we don't know. How much is in somebody's pocket, how much is hidden in somebody's luggage.
Why I ask is this.
Yes.
It is, I'll soon come to you, man. I want us to try this out. The belief is that people's money had been stolen by those institutions of authorities in Nigeria.
Yes.
Endless amounts.
Yes.
I mean, look at the one we talked about, it was the state operation and what have you. So if they are now going to be exchanging it for foreign currencies, for dollar, let's put it on dollar, that's the most popular, no doubt about that. So are we saying all these stolen Nigerian currency can buy everything?
It can buy a lot. I'm not saying it can buy everything, but those who have stolen Nigeria's legacy, stolen Nigeria's money, where they are foolish, I say foolish, is that they have not invested that money in building industry or creating jobs for the unemployed. They are hoarding them, keeping them in their homes. And that is why now the new directive by the CBN is putting them on the run, because the money they could have used to build an agricultural or something, or employ many people, but they are selfish and holding it in their own home. Now they're taking it to Bureau de Change. Why don't they take it to the bank? The CBN announced 2 weeks ago, when the announcement about the redesigned Naira notes, the CBN said whoever has the old currency can bring it to the bank, and they will have a period of 90 days within which they can exchange that money. So why are they rushing to Bureau de Change?
45 days.
Oh, 45 days, okay. Why are they rushing to Bureau de Change if the money in their homes have been acquired legally, morally?
Okay, Usman, as it is now, is this a speculation that a dollar rather, may go for as high as 1,000 naira. With which things are going.
Yes, it will go, because the aim of the federal government in saying they are going to go about redesigning the naira will be defeated. What the federal government should have done is that, okay, we want to redesign the naira, but nobody should go through any bureau de change. Whatever you want to change, come and change. Because, okay, this is a normal mathematics. If you hold $100, you are holding about instead of holding 77 or 78 pieces of 1,000. So if you hold $100, it is equivalent to that. So it is very cheap. It is very when these people convert this money to dollar, it makes the money more smaller, and they can keep it at home.
Easier to carry.
Easier to carry, easier to keep safe. Now, by doing that, they can launder money in their homes without even taking it anywhere, and it will be there. And they know that dollar cannot fall. No matter how dollar go against the naira, it will never go so low to the extent of them losing that money, the value of that money. So that's why they are always eager on changing their money to dollar. What the federal government should have done is nobody should go through bureau. In fact, for now, suspend the work of all bureau de change. Let everybody, even if you want to change it to dollar, take it to the bank. Because the essence of this policy is that the CBN is saying 2.6 trillion naira out of about 4-point-something trillion that was printed years ago is outside, and people are not spending it. Some people kept it at home. It is not me and you. We don't have money to keep because we have to survive. Some people have in excess that they are keeping. So the CBN is now saying, where is that 2.6 trillion? It is out there. If we don't change the naira, people will continue keeping it, and inflation will continue going up.
Now,
so
if those nairas are taken to bureau de change in exchange for foreign currencies, the bureau de change will take them to the banks.
To the bank.
Yes. What?
Okay. No.
EFCC has said to bureau de change that if anybody brings an excessive amount of naira to bureau de change for exchange, the bureau de change should report to call the EFCC. They have already established that, and they repeated it last week. That
they even met with their members in Lagos yesterday.
Exactly, members in Lagos, and tell them that they should report anyone that is exchanging excessive amount of naira. The maximum per day is 10 million naira. So if I bring 100 million naira to a bureau de change, the bureau de change is authorized to call EFCC and report me to them. So it's already in place. So but who's going to enforce it is the question.
The maximum is 10,000 naira.
Dollars.
Yes. Okay, if I should come with $10,000 today, tomorrow another $10,000.
And I'm doing it every day.
That is the weakness of the whole thing. It's per day. The limit is per day. 10 million naira per day. So corporate is 10 million, individual is 5 million per day. So I can exchange 5 million today and exchange 5 million every day and go to different bureau de change each day. I will never be caught. Nobody will ever report me to EFCC.
You can patronize one in Osogbo today and go to Ibadan.
Go to Ibadan, go to Lagos, go to Ilorin, go to Abuja.
That will not give people who want to use dollar for their legitimate things. People who their son wants to travel abroad.
Yeah.
Because there will be high demand on dollar. Mm-hmm. So it will continue going up.
Exactly.
To continue going up.
So what do you think we should do now about this? There will always be loopholes in rules and regulations.
There are loopholes, yes.
But I'm sure those that are in charge should also be aware of these loopholes.
Yes. I will be biased. I will be biased in my comments because bias is the sense that I bring dollars into Nigeria that I exchange into naira. I do it personally, legally. But anything I say,
you are collecting your pension and gratuity.
Exactly. I would not say something that will affect my exchanging the naira. The evil, but what the disruption and what's going on in the bureau de change is making me richer by the day. Because if I exchange $1,000, then you can imagine how much I'm collecting every day.
But that is killing the economy.
It's killing Nigerian economy, but it's up to the Nigerian government to do something about it.
And what do you think they should do?
Nigeria should now say that this is the limit. If you live in Jamaica, you cannot bring out more than 100 Jamaican dollars out of Jamaica right now, up to now. So Nigeria should do something and control the inflow of naira, inflow of dollars and outflow of naira. They should control it. They used to do it, but then Nigerians themselves will find a way around it. That is why Fela was accused of money, and that is why many people are actually involved in money laundering, and nobody is coming. Nigerians themselves will find a way around whatever law the Nigerian government makes. That is what is going on.
Is it innocently or deliberately?
Deliberately, yes.
Usman,
deliberately.
What's of advice for government and the Nigerian?
I think the what the federal government is trying to achieve by that naira design is very good, but it is still not taking shape. The act of asking people to go and change it, the experts should so that
they should review
going about this. There will be a way to be done that will not be injurious to the Nigerian foreign exchange system, and it will not be injurious to the Nigerian system again, because we are trying to fight inflation. In that process, we should not go around again and add more to that inflation, but because these people will change their money and take it back in.
Yeah.
So we want that money to come out.
And they are big men now.
And they are big men. They'll just go dump your naira for you, connect dollar and take it back in.
Okay, that's how far we'll be able to go on today's edition of this program in the newsroom. Let me appreciate my colleagues that are in the house. Adwale Adewo, thank you.
Thank you very much. Always glad to be here.
And for coming very early.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
And you also thank me for not coming very early.
I didn't say so. It's not about you also welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm saying it myself now. I apologize to our viewers. I was
so in this room we'll back tomorrow by the grace of God. My name is Abiodun Oladide. We will see some other time. Bye bye.
Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.